What do you think about the floods? What do you think about the government's response to the floods?
Well, as much as I don't feel like, I don't think overt criticisms now help, but I think everyone shares the feeling that one has to wonder why it has to be this unprepared. Because this is not the first time it happens. It happens almost a year ago. We went through the same thing in Kuantan and Kemaman. And it's all the same issues. For example, the main weakness was the immediate response to rescue. There was not enough boats. One has to wonder who should be responsible to instruct the airlifting. All this, I think, was exactly the same issues that cropped up last time, almost a year ago, during the Kuantan and Kemaman big flood. It happens again. That means that we hardly learn anything from last year, or nothing was done in order to rectify or put in place the right procedures and the right emergency response. That's number one. Number two was that what I felt, I tekilan so much was that I think you can expect when it comes to weather. This region has been having a lot of natural phenomena related to weather, whether typhoon, whether big storm, and so on. We have a meteorological department, and every time there's a big flood like this, people will talk about, oh, we expected it because it coincided with the full moon, and all the explanation came. One has to wonder, why can't this come out 3 months before, 2 months before? Why can't people get the early warning much earlier on? So I'm not so much concerned about the response when it happens. I think when it happens, because we were so unprepared as a country and society as a whole, everyone tried their best to help. And I think in that sense, I think Malaysians all came together to help. But it was so unnecessary and could have been avoided if only we have learned something from last year's big flood. It doesn't seem that our government, be it federal or state government, have any sense of emergency plan at all. And I think it's fair to say it's across the board, whether federal government or state governments, whether they are BN-run governments or Pakatan-run governments. And that's something that as a society and lawmakers, I think we all should be asking that questions in the next few months.
What do you think about Najib's little trip to
Hawaii?
He claims it was important for the country. There was some negotiations with the US.
Yeah, I'm not privy to what he discussed, obviously, so I don't know what was discussed. But I think it looked bad. And I think we are very much a society which looks up to the leadership. Everything people look up and try to find answers from leadership. It's a very patriarchal society that we live in. And I think every time a huge disaster takes place like this, I think it's society's norm and expectation. And it's a fair expectation that top leadership of the country, people who can make things happen fast and immediately, have to be there. I know a lot of people comments about the sensitivity about it, that it's like people expect their leaders to be there on the ground, drenched in flood as much so that they can empathize. I think it's a result of 50 years of politics in Malaysia, where the politicians are considered so detached from the public. And to a certain extent, I share that, because every time somebody becomes politician and as he rises up in the hierarchy, he stops behaving like a common man. He drives a car that only certain people can drive. He lives in a big mansion. I think he stops going to Makkah and Pasar. So leaders of this country, you know, the impression of the public and the rakyat, and it's a fair impression, is that leaders don't go through what they go through. They don't eat the same thing. Therefore, they don't understand the common man's problem. So when huge natural disaster takes place like this, obviously that will be reinforced, and they would expect, even if you don't have to go through it yourself, at least to show some empathy and sensitivity to what the common man is.